believe this is an alpha where we get to see the first one of the works. Called is Z. I don't even know how to fucking pronounce that one. I'll send you guys in the chat like how it looks, because I have no idea how to pronounce this. But yeah, it looks like this is the first time we get to read one of their works. And looking at the list, they're right a lot more later down the line. They also have some really cool art here. Nice. They made art of like the SCPs that they wrote, which I think that's really cool. I appreciate that. All right. Easy. You pronounce it as You wrote a journey home. Oh, okay. That guy looked like he had better days. Hey, level 1 unrestricted neutralized. I'm not gonna say it again because we have to read. Containment procedures. SCP-3105 is to be contained with a standard anomalous humanoid containment cell with a bulletproof observation window. The cell is to be also, I forgot, I need to answer somebody. The cells will be kept at a constant temperature of 10 degrees Celsius and at the humidity of 45% in order to minimize any further damage to SCP-3105. Any personnel interacting with SCP-3105 must wear protective gear to prevent injury. Note as of 3rd injury. Note as of 3rd 7th 2018, SCP-3105's containment unit has been furnished with a... Wait, we have reached the halfway point, at least, not like time-wise. It could be that now the next couple of SCPs will be shorter. But halfway point as in like, we finished 5 more to go. With a number of items as part of the ongoing research, additional items may be added at the direction of researcher Jansen and must be examined thoroughly by security. The remains of SCP-3105 are to be kept in cold storage at Site 19, 19's non-anomalous item storage wing. No further containment measures are necessary. Description: SCP-3105 is the heavily damaged corpse of a male human being. SCP-3105 shows significant damage from a number of sources, including age, exposure, animal attacks, rot, and injuries sustained from man-made weaponry. Despite its heavy damage and lack of any vital signs of mechanical processes, SCP-3105 remains animate and able to perceive its surroundings through unknown means and vocalize in a limited capacity. SCP-3105 has been reported to groan, wail, and on one occasion scream. Oh, don't scream, please. SCP-3105 with its helmet removed. Oh, I had the helmet on. SCP-3105 is clothed in heavily degraded clothing and metal armor similar to those worn by Viking warriors. Now we're talking. Is this another version of the Draugr? Because I'm always down for Draugrs. These items include a heavily rusted, oh my god, Jermunbu style helmet, a tattered tunic, a leather breastplate, one heavily damaged leather glove, and the hilt of a broken and rusted sword fused to its right hand. A type of Viking era helmet characterized by a peaked cap and armored eye guard. Oh yeah, the one that's like yeah. This is in conjunction with DNA testing has placed SCP-3105's place of origin in Western Norway, although any attempts to pinpoint an exact location have been deemed impossible due to the lack of surviving remnants. SCP-3105 has proved to be aggressive towards any humans in its range of perception. attempting to injure individuals in its immediate vicinity. Well, the alliteration, injure individuals in its immediate vicinity by any means available. However, due to SCP-3105's heavily impaired motor skills, these attacks are easily defended against and damage is usually minimal. He got zombie body, he got zombie muscles. SCP-3105 has not shown the capacity for a higher thought beyond this and is currently considered as a non-sapient. See Incident -A. And we have here we have Addendum -A Discovery. I just read what you said because of one. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to more. SCP-3105 was discovered in the small village of H, Norway, after the townspeople had begun to spread rumors of a wandering the region and eating people's souls. An undead creature from Scandinavian folklore that is described as a corpse reanimated by a spirit. Draugr time! The village had begun to leave offerings of food outside for the Draugr, which I wonder like how far away this Draugr is from like the other Draugr SCP, where like, you know, like the ones who actually like communicate with the village like normally. They're like, no, we don't want to cause any trouble. We're our own small little civilization. We don't want to cause any trouble though. We just want to, like, you know, communicate, work things out. I wonder how far this guy is from that group. The village had begun to leave offerings of food outside for the dog, which was always found to be taken the next day. Due to the SCP-3105's apparent disinterest in food and lack of means to process it, it's presumed this was due to scavenging animals. The Foundation... little tickle... The Foundation was notified when a small child was approached on the edge of the village by SCP-3105. Followed by the child's parents screaming and rushing towards them, SCP-3105 responded violently, attempting to attack the parents, but was too physically impaired to catch or harm them. Oh boy. After the incident, the townsfolk reported what had occurred to the nearest city authority in and launched a hunt in the surrounding wilderness to look for SCP-3105. Am I misremembering? Wasn't there one Draugr in the other one that I read? Wasn't there one in there that the little Draugr village actually kicked out because he didn't follow the rules? What if that's the guy? What if that's the one? The townsfolk had grown increasingly more superstitious and had begun to burn bodies in the apparent fear of them reanimating. After this escalation had been reported to the city authority along with video evidence of SCP-3105, an investigation was launched by the Foundation. A small task force was dispatched to the location and civilians were interviewed in order to stay within the confines of the village. During the search for SCP-3105, it was eventually discovered in a nearby bog stuck in a muddy lake bed, attempting to pull itself free. After it was determined SCP-3105 posed no significant threat, a containment team was called and SCP-3105 was retrieved and moved to Site-19. A cover story of mass hysteria was released to the public and civilians were amnesticized. After it was determined that SCP-3105 was not capable of higher brain function, it was placed in a standard anomalous object containment unit and was made available for study to any researchers with clearance level 1 and above. See Incident A, and here we have Incident A. What happened? What made you change your guys' mind? Researcher Jansen was performing routine samples acquisition from SCP-3105 while was not physically restrained. Despite there being no obstacle or barrier preventing SCP-3105 from attacking Jansen, it did not respond with hostility and instead peacefully observed Jansen's actions and movement around the chamber. In light of this unusual reaction, Jansen moved towards SCP-3105 with the intent to elicit a further response. Yeah, just going to really like write down my thumbnail here. Wait. Yeah. There we go. In response, SCP-3105 reached its hand out towards Jansen and attempts to touch her face. Jansen quickly recoiled from the approach while with security personnel reacting by attempting to move Jansen further from SCP-3105. Following protocol, what if she reminds him of the loved one he used to have? You look like her. And she's like, thanks. I miss her. Jansen quickly recoiled from the approach. We will see that in previous document, but Jansen and security guards were unharmed in the encounter and left the chamber without further incidents. The dog is like, no. Come back. Come back. Addendum-B testing logs. Following the interaction incident A, Jansen formally requested to be allowed to conduct various experiments to test the cognitive abilities of SCP-3105. It was Jansen's belief that SCP-3105 still retains some form of sapience that could be stimulated when exposed to different forms of stimuli. Due to Jansen's expertise in European history and culture, this request was granted and Jansen was given authority over SCP-3105 and all subsequent testing. It would be really a darn shame if actually I was right, like he sees like, you know, Jansen as like the long lost wife, like she looks familiar to her. And now this person that looks like your long lost wife is now like, I'm gonna do some experiments with you. Test 1, 23rd, 6th, 2018. Researcher Jansen, subject SCP-3105. Test. Researcher Jansen is to stand behind observation window in a full view of SCP-3105 in order to gauge a response. As a result, SCP-3105... wait. Okay, sorry. Little, Zero wants snacks. So I just need to give her something to eat. Go. Boom. Back to reading. SCP-3105 approached the window in an unusually calm state. SCP-3105 observed Jansen for a few moments before Jansen placed her hands on the glass. This is what I imagine. This is all I imagine right now. Oh no, sorry, I don't want a video. Fuck off. Give me an image. Yeah, this. You were as beautiful as the day I lost you. That's why I imagine what's going on. That's my headcanon. Okay. Before Jansen placed her hand on the glass, SCP-3105 responded by placing his unarmed hand against the glass opposite Jansen. Interesting. More testing will have to be done to gauge SCP-3105's ability to recognize objects and people, researcher Jansen. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Test 2, 24th, 6th, 2018, researcher Jansen, SCP-3105. Researcher Jansen is to hold a number of items up to observation windows in order to gauge a response. Items include glasses, mobile phone, teddy bear, photograph, and a lighter. SCP-3105 showed no interest in the glasses, photograph, or mobile phone. However, it seemed to respond with curiosity towards the teddy bear and appeared to have a fear response, and the lighter was lit before cautiously approaching it again. It's almost as if an inkling of emotion remains, but we can only just scratch the surface. I'm curious as to whether or not it's possible to stimulate its emotions further. Researcher Jansen. Test 3. 25th, 6th, 2018. It's all the same here. Researcher Jansen is to attempt to speak to SCP-3105 from the opposite side of the observation window. SCP-3105 initially showed interest in Jansen's presence. However, when Jansen began to speak, SCP-3105 appeared confused and mildly agitated. SCP-3105 looked at Jansen for a moment before slamming its fist on the glass. At this point, Jansen terminated the test and left the chamber. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe my voice wasn't what SCP-3105 expected. It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep, especially for a woman, or perhaps it's language related. In any case, SCP-3105 seemed quite agitated by my speech. Maybe if I try something more universally understood, like music. I mean, I've been looking for an excuse to play my flute on site. Yo, 3105, dig on this. Test form, 26th, 6th, 2018. Jansen is to play a traditional Scandinavian music on her flute over the speakers into SCP-3105's chamber. Researcher Jansen is to remain in full view of SCP-3105 to avoid confusing SCP-3105 as the source of the music. SCP-3105 stared at Researcher Jansen for 1 minute before slowly placing its left hand on the observation window. Dude, the more this is happening, the more I'm legitimately thinking like he is looking at somebody that is similar to his long-lost love. SCP-3105 then placed its forehead on the window and began to move in a rhythmic jerking motion similar to crying. Oh. Oh man. This is a major reaction. While likely not actively aware of its surroundings in a fully alert state, SCP-3105 does seem to come to attention when something gains its interest. I admit though, seeing SCP-3105 sob like that was a bit upsetting. Maybe it would have been better if SCP-3105 was just an animal acting on instincts, Researcher Jansen. Yo, you're slow as fuck. You're over here like, yeah, huh, why are you crying? Why would you cry about my song, man? Following the above test, Researcher Jansen had requested to perform a face-to-face test within SCP-3105's chamber. This was granted under the condition that armed guards be on alert outside the chamber. If he doesn't understand that what he's feeling after test 5, take the doctorate away, take the PhD away. 28th, 6th, 2018, Researcher Jansen, yep. Researcher Jansen is to enter SCP-3105's chamber alone and gauge a response. Security is on standby. SCP-3105 initially reacted defensively when it realized someone had entered its chamber. However, upon seeing Jansen, its behavior changed and it appeared to relax. SCP-3105 then slowly walked towards Jansen, who remained still and smiling, then reached a hand out towards her, who tenses in response. SCP-3105 ceased reaching for Jansen momentarily and stared at her before continuing. SCP-3105 gently grabbed a lock of Jansen's hair and examined it briefly before moving away to the far corner of its chamber and sitting down. Jansen then left the chamber. It is noted that Researcher Jansen has distinct red and curled hair. Yeah, I'm telling you! Ah! This is the moment I want to just teleport into the room like, girl. Girl. Curious, this was almost a tender reaction, as if it was lost in thought or nostalgia. I'll admit it's a bit unnerving having a corpse reach for your face, but I don't know. It seems to be more human than we're giving it credit for. I requested more familiar objects for testing. Perhaps this will give a stronger result. Researcher Jansen. Oh my god, dude. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Test 6. 29th, 6, 2018. This is like seeing somebody like clearly have like romantic feelings for another person, and the other person is just not picking up on any of the vibes, and you just like, please, for the love of Christ. and then that person goes through like, I don't think he has any feelings for me. Honestly, it's kind of a shame because I would like to date them. I mean, like, I can't say anything. I cannot cause any fucking mischief in this situation. I have to let them get to the point by themselves. 29th, 6, 2018. Research Jansen is to present SCP-3105 with a number of items made to replicate ancient Norse artifacts. Among these are a small woven doll, a handcrafted flute, an icon of Mjolnir, a blunted cutting knife. If it's gonna explain to me that's like the hammer's for, a necklace and a gathering of dried herbs. Yeah, Thor's hammer from those. Like, I'm pretty sure back in the, like, when this was written, it was not as common to know that, but I feel like Mjolnir, like, I feel like a lot of people know what Mjolnir is. Okay, well, to be fair, the name Mjolnir, not a lot of people know the name. They just know that Thor has a hammer. They don't know the name of it. SCP-3105 interacted with all items and showed varying degrees of emotion. The knife and icon of Mjolnir were given the least attention, with SCP-3105 showing some respect towards the icon. The necklace was handled for a moment before SCP-315 attempted to place it over its head, which it eventually managed with assistance from Jansen. Aww. SCP-315 also showed a keen interest in the herbs, grabbing them and holding them to its face for an extended period. The strongest reaction were from the flute and doll. When given the flute, SCP-315 attempted to play but was unsuccessful due to its lack of functioning lungs. However, it appeared to display a proficiency with the instrument, judging by the finger's movement on its available hand. It then passed the flute back to Jansen with a marked enthusiasm. When presented with the doll, SCP-315 held it for a minute silently, before heaving and throwing all the items in its possession to the ground, tearing off the necklace it was wearing. It's a doll reminding it of like a child that it used to have. It proceeded to wail and slam its hands and head against the walls away from Jansen as guards rushed to subdue it. Jansen ordered the guards to stand down and approach SCP-315 alone. Jansen then placed... Man, we have such a tender song as well while this is happening. Jansen then placed her hands on its shoulders, which seemed to calm SCP-315 down enough for it to sit back in the corner of the room unresponsive. This was distressing. I didn't expect such an intense response from something so small. Regardless, all the items seem to confirm my theory that SCP-315 reacts to stimuli more familiar to it. This should be enough to convince higher-ups to allocate the funds I need to overhaul SCP-315's chamber. Who knows? It might even allow us to learn more about the Viking era. I hope at least. Following Test 6, Researcher Jansen requested to have SCP-315's chamber outfitted with a number of large furniture pieces built to replicate those used in the Viking era. The stated goal of this was to simulate any remaining cognitive abilities or memory in SCP-315 and eventually allow for communication. You know what's really makes me sad? She's doing all this because it's good for the tests. It's good to do more research for. But from his perspective, he thinks that again, the person that resembles his long lost love is now making his room look more like what he's used to. It's almost like it's a lovely gesture from his perspective, but that's not what she thinks at all. She's just thinking oh, we can gain some information out of it. Unless she's just saying all this, she knows what the truth is, but she has to report oh yeah, stimuli. That's why I'm doing this. The stated goal of this, bearing some items, this request was granted on the condition that all items be replicated at as low a cost as possible while retaining the necessary characteristics. Wow, Foundation, you're not willing to fucking deck out your rooms a little bit. Test 7, 4th, 7th, 2018. Okay, here we go. SCP-315 chambers have been outfitted with a number of large furniture pieces and decorations in order to attempt communication with SCP-315 by stimulating its consciousness. The chamber have been outfitted with a large bed with fur blankets, a large fur rug, several hanging decorative and fragrant herbs, a small table with 2 chairs, a simulated hearth, and a number of small items and trinkets, including those from Test 6. Replica hearth consists of a small fan, speaker, warm LED lights, and paper, similar to commercially used decorative torches. Despite the reaction in Test 6, the small door was also included at Jansen's request with security on standby as a precaution. Result. I'm nervous. Upon SCP-315 being introduced into its chamber alongside Researcher Jansen, it stood for a moment observing its surrounding. SCP-315 then looked back to Jansen, who gestured it in. SCP-315 wandered around the room as Jansen sat on the small chair provided. SCP-315 proceeded to interact with several of the items in its vicinity. It was noted to be testing the bed, warming its hands over the hearth, and picking up a number of items and bringing them to Jansen to observe. After a while, Jansen began to play the replica flute SCP-315 had brought her, causing SCP-315 to walk over and sit opposite to Jansen. This is gonna make me fucking sad, bro. Listen, I cannot pronounce this author's name for shit, but is he gonna make me cry on stream? Is he gonna fucking make me cry on stream? Is this gonna happen? During this time, SCP-315 could be noted as quietly vocalizing while looking towards Jansen. After playing had concluded, Jansen had held out her hand, and SCP-315 placed its hand in Jansen's palm. After this, Jansen bid SCP-315 farewell and left the chamber. It worked. was like watching a child run around the room, bring the loved one all the toys. It was truly heartwarming to see. If we can manage to keep this level of attentiveness from SCP-3105, then we may even be able to facilitate some form of communication. I cannot believe that it's taking her this long to realize what's going on. It will take a lot of work though. After all, it's a big leap. Music has been shown to elicit major responses before, so perhaps that can bridge the gap. I know some songs that SCP-3105 would no doubt love to hear. Maybe I could even tell him a story in Old Norse. I'll have to study up over the coming days. But I do love her enthusiasm. I do love her. Don't get me wrong. I love that she's actually trying all this, that she's willing to like do all this. Because any other SCPs, like, where you have a fucking humanoid dead guy, they just be like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, who the fuck? We don't need to fucking build anything for his comfort. You know, it's funny. I swear I could almost hear SCP-3105's groans and sound like words while I was playing. Sound almost like a name. Perhaps Sigrid? Although it could just be my imagination. Oh my god. Fuck! Fuck! This is good. This is... I'm emotional. I'm emotional. Test 8. 5th, 7th, 2018. SCP-3105 is to be exposed to various auditory stimuli in the form of researcher Jansen playing traditional Scandinavian songs and reading stories in Old Norse, which he has practiced proficiency in since Test 6. Test terminated due to subject's expiration. I got goosebumps, bro. I don't know what to say. I got so invested in their relationship that I completely forgot he doesn't exist anymore. He's neutralized. Let's finish this one. I have to go to the bathroom afterwards. Upon entering SCP-3105's chamber for Test 8, researcher Jansen noted that SCP-3105 had not moved from its provided bed for the past several hours in the fetal position. Concerned, researcher Jansen attempted to rouse SCP-3105 with no success. She began to grow more frantic in her attempts, roundly shaking SCP-3105 and shouting, but SCP-3105 remained still. Eventually, researcher Jansen was escorted from the room by security. After examination, it appeared that SCP-3105 anomalous effect had dissipated, and now SCP-3105 was a non-anomalous human corpse. In light of this, SCP-3105's body was moved for autopsy, which revealed it had somehow removed the rusted sword from its right hand, and now held the replica flute Jansen held played in the test. In its other hand, it held a woven doll pressed to its chest. On a nearby table, a message in Old Norse was carved crudely with what is presumed to be SCP-3105's broken sword. Roughly translated from Old Norse, the message reads as follows. Thank you, kind Valkyrie. I see now you are not her. My mind is clear, and my heart is light. I'm coming, my love. Will you wait for me, my flower, my secret? Following autopsy, no source for SCP-3105's anomalous properties could be identified. SCP-3105 has been reclassified as neutralized, and its body placed in cold storage. Researcher Jansen has requested SCP-3105's remains be given proper funerary rites. This request is under review. God damn it. This was so good. But I'm fucking emotional now. What a beautiful SCP. What a start to this line of SCP works. I hope he sees this video. He or she or they. Pardon me, I don't want to like assume any pronouns. I hope they see this video and know that they created something beautiful here. This is a gorgeous story. Oh my god. I hope SCP-3105 got to rest in peace and got to be with Secret again. I hope so too. I hope so too. God damn. What am I supposed to do with all these emotions now? Jesus. I'm going to the bathroom. Let's continue. I'll be right back.